Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys.
Yeah, let's talk about value stocks, okay? Good, I'm glad I thought of it. Just happen to have Tracy Reinick here, who's our value stock analyst for Zacks.com, and she has brought a couple of real winners with her, let me tell you. Starting with Dress Barn,
yes.
DBRN. Have we talked about this before?
We have, actually, a couple months ago.
I thought so. Mm-hmm. They obviously in the dress business,
yes.
Retailers.
Women's fashions. They actually have the two different segments, which I didn't know until I started following them a little more closely. They have the Dress Barns,
right.
And then they also have another chain called Maurice's.
Oh.
And both are, in a lot of states, so they're well known. Both are on the cheaper end of the clothing line, which is why I was here a couple months doing them, and I'm doing them again because that is what's selling right now. Yeah. They've done a real good job of pairing their inventory, and then they had a good spring selling season. They had fashions that women wanted for the spring at the prices that they wanted. So they actually saw sales increase in this last quarter, which is more than some other people are doing right now. Mm-hmm. And they saw increases at both Maurice and at Dress Barn for the comparable same year-over-year sales at both of those. Maurice was up 5%, and Dress Barn was up 3%. So those are positive indicators in the retail side.
Sure.
They also did beat estimates in this last quarter, and they raised guidance, which is also, again, another real positive for them, for their story. And it was quite a significant raise, up to like $1 to $1.05 from 70 to 85, I think it was. So that's, things are looking up for them. It's still the iffy kind of retail area, but things look good. The stock isn't super expensive right now. It's trading at about 12.5 times earnings. It has come off. I know when I was here last time, we talked about how it had come off of their lows, right. And it's still hovering at, about double off of its lows. But again, it's not super expensive given that it's actually performing well right now.
The fact that any retailer is willing to give guidance of any kind in this kind of a market is really something.
Right, it is. And it tells you kind of the strength of which they see their marketplace, because they are at that value indicator, that value level, which is, people still want to buy clothes, but it just has to be at the price they're willing to pay right now.
Yeah, they just don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it.
That's right.
All, so to speak.
Right.
And then you've got Bob Evans Farms. You've got a whole theme thing going here, I think. BOBE, the ticker symbol.
Yes, and Bob Evans also has more than just the one chain and more than just one business segment, which I didn't know either. Obviously, they have the Bob Evans restaurants, which is big for breakfast, but it also serves lunch and dinner.
Right.
And then they own another chain called Mimi's Cafe, which is a more upscale, casual, yeah, really? Casual dining chain. Yeah,
I've seen those around the Chicago area.
Yeah, exactly. They do have some in Illinois. They're more predominantly out west, but they've expanded the chain. And it's the Mimi's Cafe chain that's causing them their most problems right now, because that is a little bit more upscale than the Bob Evans, which they actually have like $4 breakfasts on their menu now at Bob Evans. But Mimi's, it's harder to keep the costs down, so they're seeing, like a lot of the more upscale chains, the sales really fall back on that. And it was down about 7% last quarter, whereas Bob Evans was down only like 1 or 2% for the quarter for the same store sales. The segment that they are seeing a better sales results is in their frozen food products and their pork and sausage products. I was going to
ask about that.
Yeah, which obviously they sell in grocery stores and at convenience stores. And
that's a wholesale end of their business.
Yeah, and they saw sales up in that, about 1.5% for this last quarter, which kind of counteracted some things that they're seeing in their restaurants. Now, their restaurants have been helped by the decline in commodity and energy prices, so they've been able to pare costs that way. They've been able to do cost control through, layoffs and things like that, or, keeping just costs down in general. Mm-hmm. So that also helped in this last quarter. They're not overly expensive. They're trading about 13.5 times forward earnings. They did beat estimates in the quarter because of this cost cutting. And so, analysts are pretty bullish going forward here. The estimates have been rising for the year. But, we'll see. The company itself expects same-store sales to be down in their fiscal 2010, which is what they're moving into. But that's not that surprising given what's happening in the restaurant sector. But it's, their value meals and their value menu on the Bob Evans is doing well right now. The stock has also done what Dress Barn and a lot of the others have done. It's really bounced off those lows, about doubled off their lows. So, but again, it's not overly expensive here at about 13.5 times.
What's the range that it's in? Do you know?
For the stock?
Yeah, the stock price range?
I don't know.
Okay. It would be interesting to see if it's near the top or somewhere in the middle, or in relation to the range of the stock?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fallen off a little bit. I'm looking at it now. It's fallen off a little bit off of its highs that it hit a couple weeks ago after it came out with earnings. So
okay, so not really too bad. Not at the top, but
not at the
far
top.
from it anyway.
Right.
Do you own either of these two?
I do not.
All right, if you want to check out more value stocks that Tracy has written about, go to Zacks.com's homepage, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the words value there in bold type, the word, not words, value, colon, headline. Click on that headline. It'll take you to the story that Tracy has just written, hot off of her keyboard, and then an archive of some others. With Tracy Reinick, I'm Terry Ruffalo.